The press plate assembly. Once you've started Creo, maximise the page and select the working directory. Do this by clicking on the Select Working Directory icon. I've got a folder that I'm working on in my desktop, but yours will probably be stored in the student shared area. Access it via the folder tree, then navigate your way to the student shared area and the student Dropbox. Select your press plate folder. Don't expect to see any parts in here, this is just setting the folder. Say OK to it. We can now create a new assembly. Name it press plate. Remember the underscore. Make sure you've got assembly selected, say OK. Let's go and assemble. Let's build this like we would do if we were really assembling the part. Let's select the base plate, say open. The part should come in attached to the mouse, so just bring the cursor somewhere, left click onto the screen just to position it anywhere. We'll put the first part onto the default position. This will locate the coordinate system of the part and also the coordinate system of the assembly. You will notice the part is fully constrained, green tick to accept it. Let's now go and assemble the next parts. These are going to be the 4 corner posts. I'm just going to select my preview icon so I can see the parts that I'm doing. You can move these around as you would do normally. So the part I want is part 6. Say open. I'm going to bring it somewhere up towards the corner, but not try and position it. Deliberately bring it away. Left click just to put it down. I'm going to position this by using the surfaces so I can turn off the datum planes. Let's go to the datum display filter, select it and select all. Click away just to deselect everything. You can see the view is now much clearer. I'm going to zoom in by putting the cursor here, zoom in. I'm going to tell it that I want to use this cylindrical surface by left clicking onto it, and you'll notice as soon as I left click onto it, it creates a tail. I'm going to tell it I want that cylindrical surface to go onto this cylindrical surface. Left click again. As I do this, the two align, they center up. I'm then going to tell it that I want this surface, note the tail again, rotate the part over and zoom in to be in contact with this surface. Select it. Make sure the constraint has gone to coincident. If not, click on the drop down and select coincident. Note again, fully constrained and green tick to accept it. Refit it. Now there are 4 of these uprights. I can go to assemble. It's already selected for me. Open. Bring the cursor in somewhere towards this top left hand corner and left click just to put it down. Note, because I've used the part already, the Intent Manager automatically selects the surfaces I used to constrain the last part. So I don't have to click onto the part 6 at all. I can just select the cylindrical surface of the part I want to connect it to, left click onto it. If I zoom out, you'll see that it's aligned and it's now automatically moved onto the next surface, so I can just select this top surface and it will come in and fully constrain it for me using the same constraints as we used on the first part. Green tick to accept it, click away to deselect it. Let's repeat this. Assemble, part 6, open. Left click just to position the part, note pre-selected, select the cylindrical surface, select the flat surface. Green tick to accept it, and the last one. Assemble, check it, open, left click to put it down. Now if I didn't want to use the pre-selected surfaces, I can click onto this icon here that will allow me to place it manually. Select the surface I want to connect to, and then the second surface I want to connect to. Fully constrained, green tick to accept it. Click away to deselect it and refit it. Let's now go and select the floating middle plate. Go to Assemble, select middle plate. Again, you can zoom in, rotate round if you want to. Say Open. I'm going to position it somewhere here roughly and click to just put the part down. Use my Shift key and my middle mouse button to pan across the screen to drag the part round. This part we will put in with a mechanical constraint. This will allow us to physically drag the part up and down to show what movement we have in it. To do this, let's click onto Placement. And let's go and change the type of constraint. Go from user defined to make a cylinder. You'll note the first thing it wants is an axis. This can be done by cylindrical surfaces. So I'm going to select this top corner, select the cylindrical surface. Note which way round the part is. I have the round on this corner and the round on this corner, and the same applies on my view. So this corner here is going to go onto this part here. I selected the one cylindrical surface, hover over the main cylindrical surface of the pole that I want, or the post that I want it to fit onto, and select it. You'll notice the axes have been selected. I can now go to Translation. Translation is how much I want the part to move. This is constrained by using surfaces. So I can tell it I want to use this surface here against this surface here. You'll notice an offset distance is given to me for the position of the part. If you change this to 0 and enter, the two surfaces now touch, having a 0 distance between them. Change the distance to 25 and enter. You'll notice the parts now separate by 25mm off the selected surfaces. We also have the option to regenerate this, so after we finish moving the part around, we can click the regenerate button and the part will return to this 25mm offset. To do this, click on this arrow and note the regen value will change. We also need to enable regeneration value. Select it. To put constraints on the part to stop it being able to go beyond what is physically possible, select the minimum limit. Click on the drop down and we can select this to be 0. Therefore our part won't go any lower than the 0 position. We also want to select a maximum limit. To do this, I'm going to go to AB, my named views, and select the front. Zoom into it, and I can now click and drag up the part until it comes to its maximum height. I'm looking for the height where this top plate is going to sit in a second, which is there at 40mm. So I'm going to enable the maximum movement by clicking onto the tick box, click into the zone and type in 40 and enter. The movement of the part vertically is now set, but it's only rotationally constrained by this one corner, and so therefore can still pivot. So now I need to select a new set. Select new set. On this one, all I need to do is just select the cylindrical surface of this corner and also the cylindrical surface of this corner. This will now constrain the part for me. I don't need to worry about the translate or the rotation because they are held by our first constraint. Green tick to accept the part. Click away to deselect it. Control D on the keyboard will rotate it to the default view. And I can now get the drag component constraint. Select it, just rotate the part over, click onto this point and click and drag, and you'll notice the part will go up to its 40mm maximum and down to its 0 maximum or 0 minimum. Again, between the two. If you leave it on the 0, close the drag box and then click onto the regenerate button, this one here or this one here, exactly the same. Click onto it and note the part returns back to its 25mm offset that we set. Let's now position the top plate. Select assemble, select top plate, say open. Bring the part up and left click just to put it down somewhere. Check the orientation with the rounded corner and the rounded corner, so it's going to go onto these sides. Zoom in, select the cylindrical surface of the one part and then select the cylindrical surface of the second part. Let's do the same onto this corner to stop it being able to rotate. Cylindrical surface of this one and cylindrical surface of this one. Note I can pick this surface or this surface. They both have the same central axis. Select it, and now I just need to set the height, so I'm going to select this surface, zoom out, rotate the part over, and then select the bottom surface. My constraint has gone to a distance. Click on the drop down and change it to be coincident. The part will touch, green tick to accept it. Let's now go and position the main central shaft. But before I do this, to help me position it, what I'm going to do is select the middle plate and the top plate, and then by holding the control key down allows me to multi-select, right click onto them and then say hide. I know this part is constrained by the central position here and also this top surface of the plate. Let's go to assemble, select part 7, say open, bring the cursor in and just left click just to put it down. I'm going to select the cylindrical surface. Again, it doesn't matter whether I use that one or this one. Select it and then the cylindrical surface of the hole that I wanted to go into. I now want to set the height of it. I'm going to rotate it over and I have to zoom right in because it has this chamfer on here. Select this flat surface on the outside of the chamfer, rotate it back over and then select this main top flat surface of the plate. Change distance to be coincident. Note the part is fully constrained. Green tick to accept it. And now I can come back to my middle plate, control key to select the top plate, right click and unhide them. Rotate the part over. Again, I can go back to my drag component, click onto an edge or anywhere, and you should be able to see that you should have full travel between the two parts. Close it and regenerate it. Part should come back up to its 25mm offset and save the part. Control D will reorientate it back to the default orientation. This completes this video.